The Dutch West India Company. Now, this is a serious piece of info here. And I want people to pay attention to this because we save the best for last. But not least, Dutch West India Company. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Western Europe was experiencing dramatic increase in prosperity, strengthening the demand for luxury goods. The Muscovy Company of England was created in 1570 to trade with Russia for animal pelts used in fashionable hats of the day, as well as warm clothing. French incursions into fur-rich St. Lawrence region of North America were much envied by the Dutch. The North American fur trade grew to such a scale and magnitude that it charted half a continent and shaped the destinies of every Indian tribe in what is now called Canada. It went far toward building the reputation for riches and luxurious living of the French monarch Louis the 14th, right? Styled the Sun King for the golden splendor of his court. Significantly, one of the explicit aims of the West India Company was to remove the resources which Philip IV, King of Spain, right? Yes, King of Spain and Portugal drew from his American possession. I stand to be correct with them Romans, right? According to Jewish Caribbean chronicler Mordecai Abel, it was in a way an instrument of war against Spain. And this purpose dictated many of the company's decisions when sending colonists to the New World. Soon, Antwerp-born merchants whose family had fled to Amsterdam in 1585, all these people is woolly-head Swarty people we're talking about, right? Still from the fleeing from the Inquisition, right? After the Spanish invasion, entered the fur trade arena in North America by joining with two French partners. His name was Arnold Vogels, Hebrew Zipporah, meaning the burn, like Vogels, the Hebrew word for it is Zipporah, all right? Participant in this effort to make inroads in one of the most lucrative markets of the day included persons named Sidgman, Simon, we have plenty Simon, Mao, Moses, Maurice, we have that here, Francus and Lenart, Pilgrim, Wayfarer, Cornelius, Riser, meaning traveler, Adrian Black, Fis Moselle from Moselle, and Hans Hungarian. Names suggesting that it was largely an international and Jewish undertaking. We have even Hans. That is why Elena could change her you could trace your ancestry back to people looking like me. So yeah, there's a confirmation, right? A second set of merchants from Hoorn in the Netherlands included Cornelis Jacobs or Jacobs May, Simon Nooms, a Yiddish Noochman. Yiddish, meaning in Yiddish is Nuchem, and Jonas Wilson. Yet a third group included Jacob and Henrik Elkens, Elkanah, which is Hebrew and all, and Adrian Jans Engel, which is angel. By 1626, the West India Company had been formed with Isaac de Racieres serving as its chief commercial agent in New Netherlands. Its corporate charter divided into 5 chambers or branches: Amsterdam, Zeeland, Maes cities, the Nordic Quartier, and Friesland, Groningen. Its board of directors consisted of 19 men, termed simply the 19. All right, we get into the sweet part. In company documents, that's what they refer to as in company documents. From the beginning, it functioned as a mercantile military arm of the Netherlands, attacking, plundering, and otherwise harassing the hated enemy, Spain, and her colonies. The Dutch under Han de Moor, literally John de Moor, John of these people see any bottom of the screen, right? Established colonies in Guyana, the Amazon, and Essequibo region during the early 1600s and vied for the rich trade in Brazilian sugar. They contemplated conquering Brazil because In their view, the Portuguese were neither able nor willing to offer effective resistance, especially as many of them were Jews, sworn enemies of the Spanish Inquisition anyway. You understand? So they had reached all Brazil. Isaac de Rasieres was born in Middelburg in Netherlands in 1595. Little is known of his early life until 1626 when he came to New Netherlands as a chief trading agent of the Dutch West India Company and the secretary for the province. Yeah, confirm it, Bird. William Bradford, in the History of Plymouth Plantation, describes him as their upper commis or chief merchant and second to governor, a man of fair and genteel behavior, but who soon after fell into disgrace amongst them by reason of their factions. This rupture is believed to have occurred between November 1627 and 1630 when de Rasieres' successor began to officiate as secretary. Rasieres was married in Amsterdam in 1633 to the niece of one of the directors of the West India Company. Listen to this, Aluberans. Malu. Certain members of the company tried to make him governor of the New Netherlands, replacing Wouter van Twiller, or Wouter van Twiller. But this attempt failed. He afterwards moved to Brazil, home to many Jews and crypto-Jews, where one of his sons was born in 1637 and 1641. Upon his second son's marriage in Amsterdam in 1669, the record simply reads, parents departed to Barbados. Again, a center of Marrano settlement. Marrano, Morisco, and Conversos. It is a family legend that Rasieres became governor of Tobago. We go hear what we know with Tobago just now. Tobago misnomer is Alubera. The correct name is Alubera. Tobago is the misnomer. So anytime I say Alubera, for any of the locals who are not accustomed hearing this, I mean what you know today as Tobago. In 1624, the West Indies Company made the decision to plant colonies in North America. Not surprisingly, given what we have already seen of English strategy, the company used Sephardim as antagonists in the first onslaught. The earliest settlers were Walloons, Protestant refugees from the southern Netherlands, who displayed willingness to risk wives and children towards emigration. As we have witnessed happening repeatedly from Roanoke to Jamestown, from Plymouth Rock and Boston to the shores of South Carolina and Maryland, former Sephardim and Moors now surfacing in various hues now, right? Because of the mixture, and we would go in our next chapter, we'd show you where they were mixing with the ones who they civilized and that type of stuff, right? But now, running in various hues of Protestantism, right? Various hues of Protestantism, various forms or types of Protestantism were placed aboard ships and transported from Western Europe to North America. In addition to Walloons came French Huguenots, recruited by one Jesse de Fordes, Jesse Silva. All these incoming ostensibly Dutch settlers received from passage and an allotment of land to cultivate for their own usage. Conscripts were permitted freedom of conscience in religious matters so long as the public aspects of religious worship adhered to the Reformed Protestant practice of the Netherlands. This, of course, left the way clear for continuation of Judaic and Islamic practices in the privacy of their homes. Also in 1624, the West Indies Company revised its charter to launch the patroon system. Under such auspice, an entrepreneur to patroon collected 20 families as settlers, provided them with all needed equipments and passage to North America, and received 1,000 acres of land. Them just receiving indigenous people and just so. John de Moore, or Juan de Moore, played an important part in gathering colonists for the ventures in South America. Jewish, Sephardish, Moorish, Swarty, woolly-haired people. That's who they was colonizing South America and the Caribbean and North America with. Other prominent patroon colonizers were David DeVries, Samuel Godin, Johannes de Late, Samuel Blomart, which is Flowers or Flores, Kilian van Rensselaer, Albert Conrads, Cornelius Becker, Goma Spranger, and Hendrik Hamel. Hebrew letter shaped like a camel. That is what Hamel is. Jewish mercantilists' motives were also instrumental in formation of New Sweden. This colony was another offshoot of the Dutch West Indian Company, once spearheaded by the Baltic base in the West Swedish port of Gothenburg, where Marranos and other expatriates of Spain and Portugal dominated the merchant community. Two ships under the command of the disaffected former governor of New Netherlands, Peter Minuit, reached the mouth of the Delaware River near present-day Wilmington in 1638. They established Fort Christiana, named in honor of the Swedish Queen. 5 years later, the Amsterdam investors sold out. Finland was the eastern third of the Swedish nation at the time. And all this time it is Swarty woolly-head people occupying it, right? And the indigenous, again, Coppertone Nijis, right? Woolly-head Coppertone Nijis. A reorganization brought thousands of Finnish farmers, but they were too few to hold the colony against attack from their Dutch neighbors in the north. The Swedish colony surrendered to Peter Stuyvesant, the governor of New Amsterdam. Most of the Finns, however, remained. The design of pioneer log cabins became one of their enduring gifts to America. The Swedes also attempted to establish 3 colonies in the Caribbean. There's now the Swarty Swedes, the Swarty woolly-head Swedes, right? All inspired by similar commercial motives. The island of Tobago, or the island of Alubera, not saying Tobago again, so pay attention, saying Alubera. The island of Alubera had similarly early history of links to Marranos in Amsterdam, right? Other Swarty people. It was founded by the obscure Baltic Duchy of Courland, where the Courlanders come from. And the Courlanders was woolly-head, melaninite conquerors, if you want to call them that, right? Not no blonde hair, blue eye. Blonde hair, blue eye people never conquer nobody, or in we time in here in the Caribbean, and never do none of we nothing. Right? That is a made-up narrative to make people have racial contention. So we going again. It was founded by the Duchy of Courland, whose ruler, Duke Jacobs or Jacobus or Duke Jacobs, like Winston Duke, was related by marriage to shareholders of the Dutch West India Company, have invented first to plant a colony in Gambia in Africa. Courland, with its Latvians, became in 1639 the tiniest European state to boast a colony in the New World. Alubera lasted until 1693 and earned fame as one of the first international settlements of free men, drawing settlers from Latvia, Lithuania, Amsterdam, Zeeland, the semi-autonomous Jewish state of Livorno, France and its colonies, Germany, Brazil, Africa, even the native population of Caribs and the islands itself. Not African slaves. They were settlers and settlements, free men settlements in Alubera. Not me say that, them are the records. Right? And we now digging it up. So all of them mixing with the Caribs and them on the island itself. And they say the Caribs of the Caribs, the native population of the Caribs on the island itself. All these plans were laid down by investors in Amsterdam and carried out on Dutch shipping with Jewish interest at heart. Revealingly, non-Dutch settlers composed nearly half of the colonies of New Netherlands. It became the most religious and ethnically mixed colony in North America. Freedom was such a byword that the dissident Anne Hutchinson, declared a heretic in Massachusetts, moved there from exile in Rhode Island. She met an unfortunate death at the hands of an Indian insurrection in 1643.